they go onto this quest of, I need to know more before I connect. I need to know more. And if we keep doing that over and over again, the reality is that pattern will never lead to doing anything.
No.
And yet at the same time, if you just rush in, I also see people getting more than bumps and bruises. I see people financially committing suicide without even knowing it until it's too late.
Yeah.
And so, you know, today we've got people watching this video and they're really wanting to know, what do I need to know? And today I want to talk to you about 3 specific things that I think people do need to know before they take action.
And it's probably not what you think.
The first one is, what's your why? Like, do you really have a strong enough reason? Because real estate's going to take a stomach. It's going to take more than a whimsical moment of, let's take action on this and it'll all be rainbows and cupcakes. And when in reality, real estate has its ugly moments. At least you'll perceive them as ugly moments. And if you don't really connect to your why, so I want to ask you,
what's mine
when
is
we
yours,
started interacting,
but it
you saw
is
what I was doing in
mine.
real estate and saw that it could be a
My
vehicle
home,
for freedom.
my
What was
family,
your why
my
behind
rules.
wanting to jump in and take action?
You know, and this is a really beautiful question because the why really for me didn't have anything to do with the how-to. It really didn't make sense that I could do real estate to do what I loved, and because doing what I loved really had nothing to do with real estate.
So real estate's really random for you.
It was totally random, made absolutely 0 sense, but until I heard you say, you know, this is my fuel. I remember you telling the story about how you were walking on the beach in Kokomo and saying, what am I going to do with my life? And I was like, wait a second, I know exactly what I want to do with my life. I want to be in that position where I can do it. So I love to travel. I love to be a mom. I really don't want to work for someone else. And I was like, okay, that is my why. And now I've got this real estate formula. How do these two mesh together?
Well, if I share my why, I thought it was so backwards that, you know, 3rd day of college, I meet my wife and we're getting married and we build this beautiful life and all these dreams. And yet what I thought was so backwards was she got to be stay-at-home mom if she wanted. And then I was going to have to be the dedicated breadwinner. And if I had something that I liked doing, I'd be fine with that. But at that point in my life, I didn't know what I liked. I just knew that I didn't want to commit 40 or 50 hours a week to a job that I didn't have passion for. So what really fueled my why was, I really want to be free.
Yeah.
To actually, I don't even know what I want. I just know what I don't want. And having the job and the job, I don't want that. So I don't want to work for that. And I don't want to become a slave to that. So real estate was a really big part of my why. And really that why got cemented with some pain in my life. It was being deeply in debt. It was being behind. It was unable to pay for groceries and food and being in such a tight place that I hated how I was feeling with the woman I loved the most. And so I really committed, I get to do whatever it takes to never have to feel that way again. And that was my why.
Yeah.
You need to know what your why is, because that's one of the 3 key things that you need before you can take action. The second thing is, you need to have a system. Having a system is a really important part, and a lot of people say that it's an acronym of save yourself time, effort, money. And a team and a system is all about time, effort, and money. Because you can do real estate the expensive way or the non-expensive way. You can put in loads of time or less time. Marianne, obviously our system gave you a lot of confidence, and there's a lot of systems out there. How did you feel about finding the right system, and how did that give you the permission to launch into real estate even though it wasn't your passion?
Well, the funny thing is, when we first started communicating, when I met you for the first time, I saw all the slideshows and I saw the graphics with the golden eggs in it, and I was like, okay, get away with all the front of it. I want to know what this really means. And as I sat down and I listened to other people that had been using the system, you know, I have got a couple brothers that have been using the same system, and I thought, okay, what does this mean for me? Because one, I don't want to spend a lot of time, energy, and money learning real estate because I've got a passion and that's not it. So I would look over these case studies. I would look over the almost $1 billion in real estate that's been done, and I would look at the confidence of the people that were doing it and saying, yeah, it's totally easy, and I can either be as hands-on or as hands-off as I want to be. It was proven over and over and over again, and I thought, you know what, if I can just turn on a machine that does the work for me, and I can have it working and sending me checks whether I'm awake or I'm asleep or I'm paying attention to it or I'm not, or 5 minutes a month, whatever it needs to be, if it's working for me, that's when it would start to make sense where, oh, now my money's doing the job.
Yeah, and obviously I had a system that I could provide for you, but for watching this video, whether it's my system or not, that actually doesn't really matter. I mean, there was a system, I didn't have a system when I needed me when I started my journey, but someone else had a system. And you need to leverage somebody's system. And Marianne's bringing out some really important key points. It's not adequate to just have a system. It needs a system with track record. And so Marianne's talking about this system having almost $1 billion of results and having a very specific pathway, a ladder of how to climb and get where you want to go. And so there's a lot of great options out there. There's a lot of great books. There's a lot of great information. And as long as you have confidence in a system that you have vetted that makes sense, then guess what? You've got number 2, the right system. Once you have the right system, you need the third and final component. You need a plan.
Great.
And this
What's
is what's so
mine is
important.
yours,
You could
but
study
it is
volumes of
mine.
information
My home,
on real estate till the
my
cows
family,
come home.
my
I don't even know where that one
rules.
comes from, but it always, I guess, means that the cows are not
Maybe
coming
they
home for
never
a
come
very
home.
long time. So instead of waiting for the cows to come home or for pigs to fly or whatever that looks like, you need to have a plan. Marianne, what was the plan, for example, that was laid out for you that gave you confidence in pulling the trigger and moving forward?
Well, I'll never forget sitting down with the guy who gave us our first plan. He made it super, super simple. And he just said, you know what, you can take this 401k from your old job that's been sitting there guaranteed not to make you money every month, which, by the way, was something I hadn't even thought of until it was pointed out to me. And like, oh my gosh, you're right, it's making me $0 every month. And he said you can pull out that 401k, you can put it into a house, and in that house you can either create money in a cash flow market where you're getting money every month from renters, and or it could make money when you sell it. And that's when I put the track record to the test. I was like, okay, in 2008 there was this big crash, what were you guys doing? And they said, well, we were still making money, and this is how we did it. And I was like, all right, that's proof of concept for me. That says that I can take what I've got and make it start working for me. And this plan that he laid out for me was so ingenious in its simplicity.
Well, and let's go one step further on what your plan was, because a good plan is customized to a person's situation.
Absolutely.
And in your situation, you didn't have all of the money that you needed in a 401k to buy a house. You actually only had a small part of what you needed. And so your plan basically said, hey, you need to actually bring a partner on board. Tell me a little bit about what happened there.
Well, we needed that cash flow, like you said. There's a certain investment that you needed to bring into a house. And I got on the phone with the person that was helping me with this, and they said, okay, well, you've got this, this, and this. Here are some options. And they said, why don't you bring on a partner with you? And they said, a partner? What? I have no idea what we're talking about. What does that even mean? And they said, well, you can bring on a cash partner or a credit partner, and then there's a managing partner. So they told me about the 3 different kinds of people that were in a partnership, and they said, why don't you be the managing partner and a partial cash partner, and then the other person you bring in will be the other partial of the cash and the credit partner. And together we would buy a home and draw up a custom contract and say, okay, we're going to split our income from the home, we're going to split the costs of maintenance or repairs, whatever that happened to be, and then when the home sells, we'll just keep it that same split. And I thought, who else does this? I've never heard of this before.
Now, this is what's really important. This video is not about what exactly Marianne did. This video is also not about her specific plan, because I can tell you that I've created hundreds of different game plans, but they're all customized. And what Marianne needed for real estate was, all right, she had access to my power team in the system. Then she also had some money. She needed someone else that had money, and she also needed someone else that had credit. And when those pieces were able to come together, you formed a partnership. First of all, how long have you guys been in partnership?
About 2.5 years.
And in the last 2.5 years, the property you bought, what's happened to the value of it?
It's really increased quite a bit, more than we actually expected. Due to some developments that have gone up in the area around, and it's actually gone up in value about $100,000.
So just think about that for just a minute, because if you have a partner, you guys probably, what's your split, roughly?
It's about 25-75, maybe 30-70. I have to look at the paperwork, but it's around there, yeah.
So however you put it together, someone was getting 70-ish%, someone was getting 30%, and now there's this $100,000, and now that money is being split. What's beautiful about that is you found a way to do real estate, and that 401k wouldn't come out of your back pocket, but even if you hadn't had a 401k, there would have been a different game plan.
Right.
The game plan would be, all right, we're going to get the money this way. Real estate is filled with OPM, other people's money, and that's always going to be in the conversation, because the majority of our clients aren't actually out there, they're not Mr. or Mrs. Moneybags. And so the important thing is you need to know your why, you need to have the right system, and then you need to have a plan with very specific action steps of how you move forward. If you have these 3 things working towards your benefit, it's time then to push the go button and start taking action. And Marianne, I want to ask you, as we talk about the why, the right system, and having a plan, you really only spent a very short period of time investigating and learning, and then you pulled the trigger. As you look back now 2.5 years later, obviously there's some great gains. How do you feel about it?
I put 3 hours worth of work, maybe, total into this whole thing between meeting with our partners and calling my coach and doing emails back and forth, maybe a phone call here and there. So I'm thinking, you know what, we put maybe $5,000 from a very small 401k in. We're looking at getting a return from anywhere from $30,000 to $35,000 on the home over the course of a year or 2.5 years since we own the home. That's a really great rate of return.
It's like a 200 to 300% annual return.
It is, and I don't know any job that does that. I certainly don't know of anyone 401k that does that. And I've had to do less than 3 hours worth of work with my partner or with my coach. And at the same time, if I ever have a question, I can call my coach at the drop of a hat. In fact, he just called me last week and said, hey, let's take a new look at the area. Let's take a new look at the house and see if there's any wise moves moving forward that could be really financially beneficial for you.
Thank you, Marianne. I'm really glad that you were on today's video. And I think this is the take-home message, is that if you're interested in doing real estate, but you've never done it before, there are the 3 things that you're going to need. Is you need a why, understand what's important to you and what's going to keep you in the game. There are some rough patches because real estate's going to bring some of them. It's not going to take a lot of time. It doesn't always take money, but there's a little bit of mindset upgrades. Number 2 is you're going to need the right system, and that system builds confidence. And it doesn't matter what system it is, as long as you vet it and you feel good about it. And the 3rd one is you've got a plan. And once you have those 3 things, please do not delay. It's time to take action. I can tell you right now that the millions of dollars I've been able to make in my life have been a function of being an action taker. And often it's the cost of indecision that costs us more. Marianne didn't need to find a partner. She could have still tuned out and say, yeah, I totally know what would power me and drive me. I also have access to the right system, but I never really got action taken on my plan, or I never put a plan in place. And then it would probably be better that you hadn't done anything. And yet, the ball is in all of our courts to be able to take action. So here's my last question for you, Marianne, is that for anyone that's watching this video and thinking, wow, I'm kind of nervous or scared about jumping into real estate, I'm thrilled and I'm excited. What do I really need to know? Is there any you really give to them on what they should do if, as long as they have their why, as long as they have a system, they have a game plan, what do you think the next step is?
Personally, I would love to talk to you, because from my perspective, I had no clue what I was doing, and I gotta be honest with you, I still have very, very little clue what the real estate side is doing, but here's what I do know. I know it's working for me. It's a wheelhouse that's operating, and even though I don't know how the wheelhouse works, I know how to leverage it. I know how to call my people, I know how to get my coaches in line, and I've got my why, I've got my plan, I've got all of that in place. So my advice to you is to take action, and I believe there's even a link below to do that.
There is a link. It's right up here. And the great thing about Marianne, and I wanted to introduce her today because she's actually now a member of our team. She actually works in a different business division, but she'll actually be speaking with some of you, same with Stephen Miller, myself, and some others on the team, about what it looks like to give you a custom game plan. So Marianne helps make those plans for people, helps reveal the system, and helps people take action just like she's been able to do. So Marianne, thank you so much for being on today. By the way, one last thing here about Marianne is you can find her on her YouTube channel. The 6-Figure Mastermind, that's a great place where people can come and learn what?
We're going to teach you how to speak on stage. We're going to teach you how to build your own mentoring business. We're actually also going to teach you the advanced sales and marketing system. If you're in business for yourself, you're an entrepreneur, solopreneur, anything that you're doing to generate money, get out of that job and step into your passion and step into your why. If you ever wanted to learn the A to Z on how to do that, come check out our channel.
Awesome. Marianne, thank you so much for being on. Really appreciate it. And everyone, once you have those 3 things in place, go crush it. Friends, you have the top 3 things that you need to go out and crush it in real estate. Now is the time, as long as you know your why, as long as you have a system, and as long as you have a plan. If you don't have those 3 things, click the link and we'll show you what ours looks like. It's worked for thousands of other people and it just might be your ticket. Otherwise, make sure you subscribe and click that little bell at the top so that we can notify you with our daily channel about the videos that we're launching to find the next best tips and helps for you to crush it in real estate.
Hey guys and gals, my name is Jason Bond, founder of JasonBondPicks.com, and I teach people how to trade stocks. Now,
I was surfing on the net and came across Cora with some really great real estate questions, and someone was out there saying, if I want to make $10,000 a month residually, how much money do I need? How much real estate do I need to do? So today on Limitless Wealth TV, I'm going to be answering that question. All right, so today's video is based on a question that comes straight from Cora. I really connected with it because frankly, it was the first real question that I asked myself in real estate. The question reads, if I want to make $10,000 a month from rental properties, how much would be my investment? So the way I look at that is how much money would I really need and how much real estate would I really need to buy if I wanted to produce $10,000 a month residually. So my wife and I, when we were totally dirt poor and we scraped everything together to buy this first property, it was worth like $150,000. We bought it for $110,000. So it had like this $40,000 equity position. Before we even found it, it took us like 14 months to save up $5,000 as like a baby down payment to be able to even do this, right? Because you can get away with 3% down payments on homes when you're first-time home buyer purchaser. So my wife and I, we spent 14 months building up. We bought this house, and after we did, we would rent out the basement. It would pay our mortgage almost entirely, and all of a sudden, our biggest expense was gone. We were living for free, which meant that we could start climbing out of credit card debt. We could start paying things off. And I remember that's when my wife and I had to sit down and said, all right, how much real estate do we need to do to get to $10,000 a month? So when I say I connect with this question, it's because I not only asked it, the answer that I'm about to give you, I lived, and then 4.5 years later, I had more than $10,000 a month residual income, and it worked. And the exact same thing that I did then is the exact same thing that works today. In fact, I love showing people how to do it. So I'll give you a little bit of a taste for it here. And then seriously, if you're new to the channel, you need to subscribe so that I can share with you way more details of how did I do it, what were my strategies. You can find it all here. So, question. If I want $10,000 a month of residual income, one of the questions is, how much real estate do I need to do? And the other one is, how much money is it going to actually take for me to get there? You know, I give you two totally opposite answers today. I did not have money, so when I actually started doing my real estate, that tiny little down payment I put into that house, essentially I took what I'm going to call a sweat equity path. Now, a sweat equity path means that the first house that I bought, it had $40,000 of equity. And that was important because all I put down was $5 grand. But by buying $5 grand,